All right, Tim. Did you hear that they finally have patched WWE 2K20 and the game is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's amazing.
Adam,
Yeah.
first off, old news. That was like 2 weeks ago,
Oh.
and yeah, it's the patched. It's still the same old shit. Uh, Worst version of WWE 2K19. Heck, it's a worse version of 2K18, 17, and 16.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of As the Buckle Turns. I'm Adam.
I'm Tim.
And this week we've got predictions for you. We've got some news for you. We got to complain about stuff because that's what we do. And Tim's leaving his room, and it's now the Adam Show.
No,
I mean, it's
had to
really
close my
always
door.
the Adam. Oh, you
It's
came
never
back.
the Adam Show.
All right, sorry.
It's never the Adam Show.
Oh yes.
Hey, and
yeah.
you saw me. You could see I was closing my door, so don't you even think about saying I was leaving.
No idea what you're talking about. Let's start off with the least surprising news that we have. Randy
Okay.
Orton resigns.
Hold on. Ah, you ruined it. I was gonna say.
Ah.
I wanted to preference it, but I was gonna say, if anyone thought it was a possibility that this was not gonna happen and he was gonna go to AEW, just do the world a favor and go live under a rock or something, because
Yeah, no, there's no way that he wasn't gonna re-sign with WWE. The man's bread and butter is with the company that he's now making a good paycheck and not having to do a lot of work.
yeah, I mean, the guy just used AEW as a way to get more money, which is absolutely, I understand. I would do the same thing if I was him, but I was hoping, not believing, but hoping that maybe he'd actually leave and go do something with AEW just for the hell of it, and then show that he could actually wrestle. But I personally think he's just so comfortable not having to do a lot of work and get a big paycheck. But
I mean, there's a certain point. Look, I have no problem with going the route of working your ass off in the indie scene to get recognized for years and years and then retiring through a large company. I mean, like, no, I've worked my ass off. Now I can collect that big paycheck and I'm going to have it easy here. And then I'm going to retire and then I'll be able to go do whatever I want. I like that idea. Randy Orton's already at the point where he's like, yeah, you know what? Put my time in with WWE. I can coast out the next 5 to 8 years and collect a paycheck.
yeah, so the hope that we'll actually see a different side of him wrestling, that he'll actually can still go and have a really interesting match. Yeah, I think he's just at the point where it's like, why would I do that? I can have these cozy matches in WWE. I'm always gonna be used because of my name recognition.
Right.
I'm also gonna be paying me a lot of money, so I can do it. Whatever. It is what it is.
We could still see the possibility of a new, well, a good match out of Randy because he, after re-signing, sent out a challenge to John Cena for one more match at WrestleMania. And if we're going to go out on a, end of an era type of match between these two, I want to see the both men tell a story of their entire careers in this one match.
But
We get the punt kick. We get the STFU. We get all the things that we have seen from these two in the past. At the same time, giving us a match that we know could be a career-defining match for them.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get that kind of interesting match from Orton ever again. I think he's too complacent in the ring. But if he was going to turn out a really good match, I think it would be against John Cena, just to show why. These two were the top stars of their era, but I think he's too complacent. But that's just me. But Oh well.
I have my hopes, man. I have my hopes because we know that John can have a great match. And it's just kind of
Oh
one
yeah.
of those that it's now dependent on whether or not Randy can go, all right, I'm not going to have the phoned in style match that I've had in the past.
Yeah. Well, we know we complained about Brock Lesnar all the time about phoning it in and not really doing long matches, and yet lately he's been doing a lot of good matches with people.
Yeah.
But it's because he's finally getting to work with people he wants to work with, and he enjoys working with smaller guys. And I think it's because he understands that when you have a smaller guy compared to him, it's a more interesting story. There's more you can do, and he has no problem selling for these guys.
Exactly.
I mean, he basically just destroyed Rey Mysterio for the last few weeks. Oh, by the way, WWE, great job of botching your new signee in a few minutes at your street fight in Philly. But I mean,
Yeah.
going past that, but it's just like destroying Rey Mysterio only to have him come out on Raw and destroy Brock Lesnar and him sell it. I mean, the guy actually sold like he got knocked out by Rey hitting him with the WWE Championship.
See, that's every once in a while you see this absolute brilliance out of Brock Lesnar, and then other times it's a hard phoned in type of person. I don't know. I really don't want to get into it because that's a lot of there's a lot of baggage to unpack in there.
And we gotta move to one. We have one more story we gotta add on to this, but we're gonna go to it quickly because we forgot to put it on here. So this past week they announced the Fiend Bray Wyatt was going to reveal his Universal Championship on WWE's backstage, and well, wasn't really sure this was gonna happen. I was hopeful that we were gonna reveal the new look of the belt because a red strap belt on the blue brand doesn't work.
I mean, what are they changing up on it? They're changing the strap to black. It's becoming a blue strap. Maybe we're gonna get like the smoking lantern skull. Something crazy like that. So what did they change about it, Tim?
Yeah, they revealed the Fiend's plates on the Universal Championship.
Oh. That's it?
Yeah. Which I'm not surprised whatsoever because WWE likes to hype up these things like no tomorrow, like it's going to be a big thing, and they deliver all the time because it doesn't matter if we deliver or not because the fans are always going to watch us because we're WWE. You're a fucking moron. There's a reason why your ratings are in the tank, and this is just... I'm glad I'm done with paying attention.
Yeah.
And to even prove a point, what was the big idea behind Fox getting SmackDown? What did they want to do with the presentation? Do you remember?
They wanted to have a more sports feel to the show itself. That competition is more the big draw of the show.
Yeah, I actually watched a little bit of it last night, SmackDown. I already knew the results because they were recorded ahead of time because they were over in England. I also know the results for Raw, too, because they're over in England as well. They taped that already. But I already knew the results, but I was at the gym and I was on the cardio machine. There was nothing over the outside I wanted to watch, so I just watched it. Yeah, nothing's changed. It's the same old SmackDown before they were on Fox. There's no real sports orientation in it. It's not like what they were hoping for. I don't know if it's Fox just said we want something more like this and they made a few changes to make it look like it to Fox, or WWE just said no. But regardless, it's the same old thing, and this is why WWE is losing ratings all the time because they have this specific mind frame that this is how we got to do things, and
when the show that it was back on Fox instead of FS1, last Friday, Yeah. Not this past one, the one before.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
It tripled its audience from the week before. It's like, well, yeah, because it's back on Fox.
Yeah. And because of what you did the week, a few weeks ago, what you did on that show. But we'll talk to that in a few minutes. But overall, this reveal was not a surprise that they hyped it up and underutilized. And it's just, you gotta do something with that belt, because I'm sorry, if you have a blue brand and you have a belt with a red strap on it, all it kind of shows is that you are the show is not good enough to have its own belt, because it's actually just using the one from the other brand.
Right.
So maybe in time we'll actually do that, but oh well. Let's move on to the actual thing we were going to go to before I remember we forgot about to talk about that. They've officially announced Impact's next pay-per-view will be Hard to Kill in January. I think it's like January 5th, if I remember correctly, in Dallas, Texas. Okay. And the person who will be challenging for the Impact World Champion, Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, Tessa Blanchard versus Sammy. Wow, I mean, it's not jumping directly into it because that's January, but that's the next big thing. So yeah, they're jumping right into it.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I mentioned last week that they at one of their tapings, they did a gauntlet match for the number one contender, and she ended up winning it. So that was what will be why. So it'll be interesting to see if she wins it here. Again, I kind of hope she doesn't. I'd rather see her capture the X Division, use that at later down the road to really
see that would be very cool.
Callahan had an interesting conversation about that. Saying, someone asked him, "Do you think there needs to be a women's division with the crossover?" And he's like, "Yes, I think there should be a knockout division and a regular men division, but they can cross over at points, at any point. Yeah. So that in the X Division, the tag team, and the world title can cross over." So I'm like, and that's good. And I do agree. I liked how you said the other week. I don't know if it was on podcast or we talked about it beforehand, but like the knockout of the women's division is like the junior heavyweight division. It is protected. Yeah. And you have the that way, but the knockouts could come up. The women in any company could go up to the main roster, the main championship divisions, and challenge for those as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I gotta run to the bathroom. Recording?
I am recording. 3, 2, 1.
All right.
All right.
Stop interrupting me.
Let's move on.
I'm trying to move on to the next subject.
You want to go? You go.
Stop interrupting me.
You stop interrupting me.
I'm trying to move on to
the next
subject.
I mean, what did you have next?
Oh, okay. What did you have next?
I mean, the next thing that I have is closing out the show. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Bye.
The next thing that I have is closing out the show.
Wait. No, we need to fill in more time.
Okay.
Wait. No, we need to fill in more time.
Yes. We've only been talking for about 13 minutes. That'd be
the fastest show
we've
on the
ever
planet.
Done, I think.
The fastest show on the planet.
So we do need to talk about some stuff that came out last week. Apparently, Joey Mercury, who worked with Ring of Honor, I say worked, no longer with the company, has decided to air his grievances with the company and publicly over Twitter. And he went all out on a lot of things. Some of the things that he accused the company, the president or the person who runs Ring of Honor of, is not having a concussion policy, lack of care for the safety of wrestlers, with no security, and like just tons of other little things I can't remember off the top of my head. All you have to do if you want to find these is to go out and Google Joey Mercury's comments on Ring of Honor. You'll find all of his tweets. He did drag in former our Women of Honor's champion Kelly Klein into this because she's apparently having some issues with them over contracts and injury stuff.
Okay.
Where he said that they had her wrestle in South Africa with a brain injury. Like, she was completely concussed. He released emails between her and the runner of ROH over about her contract with Kelly's permission, by the way. To make that very clear. He didn't just take it in against her permission. No, she gave permission to release these emails. And it's interesting. Seeing this from someone who just left, you could say, oh, he's bitter and he just pissed off he doesn't have a job anymore. Yes, but it's been well established that ROH and New Japan's relationship is not as strong as it used to be. And this could be one of the reasons. If even a portion of these things that he say are true, that would be considered. I could see New Japan saying, I have concerns about sending our wrestlers to your promotion and they could get injured. They could get hurt because you don't have security. You don't have at times all these different things. So it's definitely something I think people should need to go and look out for and really just get out there. Like, get the name out there. Like, not there, but just read what he did.
I'm looking at this right now. It's from Wrestling Inc. They're right up on it. The fact that Joey revealed that Shane Taylor will not be re-signed on January 1st, but as of publication, Taylor didn't know that from Ring of Honor. It's like, oh, good one, Joey.
Yep.
You're kind of pissing people off on that one.
Crazy shit.
Look, if you've got your grievances, that's cool. Do that. Don't drag other people that don't know the situation in.
Don't drag other people that don't know the situation in.
I'm okay with him saying that because that's, to me, that's if yes, you do have your grievances. Don't bring other people into it in a sense, but like when you're doing shady shit like that, like you're not planning on signing someone and the guy doesn't know yet, and you don't plan on telling him until like the closer and all that. I have no problem calling them out on it. Maybe not say the person's name and just say there is someone who's currently an established star with the company whose contract's coming up and they have not told him that he's not being re-signed. But yeah, I mean, some of it does come off as him very much he's angry at losing his job. But when you look at some of the stuff he's revealing, you're like, I think he's angry. It comes off to me more angry about some of the shit than anything else. And that he's like, you know what? You want to get rid of me? Fine. But I'm letting the world know what kind of company this place is. So, but that's just me. Definitely go and check that out because it's a very good read. And it's not just one set of Twitter posts. He did a bunch of Twitter posts. Then he did the email release. Like, he did a bunch of them back to back over several days. And it's really interesting on what he gets out there. So all right. So our next piece of thing is we need to talk about some news that came out of what do they call their that show before
the buy-in?
AEW pay-per-views at the
the buy-in?
No, not the buy-in, on the night before. It's like with the
Dark?
No, is it the whole like
Starcast?
They had like CM Punk was the guest at the thing before All Out.
Starcast.
Which
Starcast.
is
I
actually separate from
AEW. The name of
AEW.
it.
Which is actually separate from AEW.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But it's not AEW, but they're so kind of interlinked that it kind of is, but it's not officially. But Cody Rhodes was the main star there, and he was asked about a potential secondary title being introduced to AEW. and he came out and said that they're talking about it, and wouldn't be surprised if in the next month or
See,
two
that would be awesome.
they announce another title. It was not
That would be awesome.
it was not clear though. It would be a secondary title. We do know the women's tag team titles are eventually going to come to AEW. I don't think that's
we don't
happening
really have
anytime soon though.
We have women's tag team matches happening. But we haven't really formed teams yet to actually show that there's a division burdening, becoming.
That there's a division burdening, becoming.
And they don't really have enough women to do a tag division just yet.
Not really.
And let's be honest, when you look on the independent scene, it's not like you can sign women tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can men's tag teams, because while there are some out there, it's not as big as men. So you're going to have to hire new people and put them together as a tag team. Right. So I'm thinking we'll probably get the women's tag championships around Double or Nothing or Triple or Nothing or whatever they decide
Double or
to change
Nothing
it, or
to the doubling.
The name of the pay-per-view.
Double or Nothing to the doubling.
Well, that'll be the fourth one, or that's Double or Nothing 4,
or something like that.
The doubling,
or that's Double or Nothing 4, the doubling.
Double down,
doubling the double down. Double down. Double or Nothing, double down.
That could be the second one.
Yeah, that could be the second one.
So, but that's what I think. So it will be interesting to see if they make an announcement about this potential championship. They definitely do need a secondary title. Let's just be clear. We spent last week fantasy booking. You fantasy ended up booking the men's. I ended up fantasy booking a women's secondary title, which I still love.
I still like my AEW Dark title.
So
I still like my AEW Dark title.
So do I. I think that's a great idea too. So. And what would be interesting is the switch on that is that was the belt you used to get a
that would be cool.
At, like the secondary title.
That would be cool.
But so it'll be interesting to see what they do with this announcement when it comes, if it comes. But this is the second time I've heard something Cody specifically talk about it. So it's probably in the works, and they have enough talent where they need a secondary title really quickly, I think. And I hate saying we have to keep adding championships, but when you're starting a new company from scratch in the main big picture of what AEW's done, you kind of have to, because a lot of your new talent that people aren't familiar with, if you're having them challenging for the AEW World title, it helps them get over, but no one believes they're going to win the belt. So having that secondary title helps. But we'll be interested to see if that comes soon. I guess we should move on to Cody's announcement.
That promo was fire
this week.
Oh my god! First of all, that promo
he totally tapped into his dad on that one.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Rock
doesn't. Totally tapped into his dad.
The Rock congratulating him and saying it was great. No, The Rock knows nothing about cutting a good promo. I can't. There's no way I could keep that straight face.
I like The Rock's tweet because it was like cadence, content, emotion. You nailed all three. And I was just like, that's if The Rock is giving you that kind of props, of course. Like, it just shows that it's like, yeah, Cody, you were not used at your full potential, or it took you leaving the WWE to find your full potential. One or the other. He's reached that level.
No, I don't.
He's reached that level.
When he was in the WWE, I don't think he had this. He was not at this level. When he was getting near the end of his tenure, the whole Stardust character was the embodiment of showing that he can take any character you're given and make it gold. We saw sparks of that with the dashing Cody Rhodes, the Doctor Doom Cody Rhodes.
I liked it.
Face protecting match on. All those little.
I liked it.
Yeah, and then when he ran with Dustin with for the tag belts being the Shield, again, we were seeing those little spurts, and I actually think it was during that tag run with his brother in WWE that he
Yeah.
really kind of put it all together. Being with his brother, and put it all together, and then the Stardust character was an embodiment of that.
Yeah.
The fact that WWE did nothing with it is why. And then when he got out on the independent scene, it took him a little while to kind of rework himself to fit the independent scene. But he eventually did, and then now in AEW, he's building the company from the scratch up with other people, so he doesn't have to
Right.
make a transition. He's already there.
Right.
So yes, it was an awesome promo. I watched it the other day, and I was just like, I gotta watch that. People keep saying it. Let me see what I can eventually watch it. I'm just like, oh, it's 6 minutes, man. I'm busy. I don't really want to. It didn't feel like 6 minutes. It felt like 3 minutes watching that.
The
promo.
emotion of, I mean, the fact that he once again, I don't know if Cody is just good at being able to crack his voice and just draw that emotion from the crowd as a face. Because, I mean, at the same time, all he has to do is just be arrogant, and he's a heel.
Yeah.
Like, Cody just seems to have, he found the spark to be able to, like, as people have said, the best characters in wrestling are when you take yourself and bring it to 110%. And that's the character. And you're like, no, I know that character because that's me. That's the best characters because it feels true. It feels from the heart. And Cody cut a promo that was from his soul.
Yep. Wrestle Talk had the caption on their review, like their actual talk discussion of Wrestle. I think they call it Wrestle Talk Live now, because they keep rebranding stuff over there.
I know.
It's hard to remember some of their segments where they actually just broke down AEW Dynamite, and the caption and the thumbnail was Cody Rhodes, AEW's best babyface, or wrestling's best babyface, and like. There's an argument not just for in AEW, but overall in wrestling right now, he is probably the best babyface because he has the emotion. Just look at the emotion he was able to generate
promo
with his
right
match
after
with
it.
Dustin at Double or Nothing.
I need my brother. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you go through his work with Sean Spears for All Out, and then his build to work with Jericho. It's just, there is something about Cody that no, I don't think anyone was ever going to say he'd make a very good babyface overall. I think he would be a strong babyface, but not a really good one like we would want to see for a long time. No, with this Cody Rhodes, I could see Cody sticking as a babyface for the next 3 or 4 years and be fine. And
even then, it's not you don't even have to truly turn him heel.
It was definitely a great
All he
promo.
has to do is be willing to cheat in order to achieve his goals.
Yeah. But the thing we need to talk about is part of this promo was he made the announcement that if he does not win this Saturday, today of our recording, because someone had to do something last night.
I had a date. I
know.
How
dare you have
I'm
a
so
life
sorry
outside of
about that.
Wrestling.
I know. I'm so sorry about that.
My bad. We're not actually in wrestling. How dare you have a life outside of Zop Gaming? And
sometimes it amazes
terms.
me that I have time for anything else.
Sometimes it amazes me that I have time for anything else.
But so the announcement was he will not challenge for the world title again if he loses this tonight.
Which I enjoyed, on Facebook,
personally, I think
the
this is a little
comment section
too
right
soon.
after that. Everyone's like, and so Cody's going to win. Oh, it's going to be TNA. It's going to be early 2000s TNA all over again with Jeff Jarrett carrying the belt for quite some time. And my response was, no, it doesn't have to be that way. You can have Cody win here and Jericho still retain the belt. It's totally possible.
Jericho still retain the belt.
Yep.
It's totally possible.
Yep. As far as I know, they haven't announced whether they have titles changed hands as
I
qualifications or
don't.
not, or countouts.
Standard
Um,
rules over most
They
companies
should.
is if there's a DQ finish, the belt does not change hands.
Is if there's a DQ finish, the belt does not change hands.
I know. I think they should, because it takes that championship advantage away. Because in real sports,
Right.
champions don't have an advantage.
Right.
So, but it'll be interesting to see if he wins it. I was watching Wrestle Talks during our break predictions, and they actually had a really good point about by him losing and not having a championship opportunity for years, you have a way to build a story of him getting a title shot over years. If they bring in a secondary title, he can be that guy to use that to elevate that belt and then put over other people who
Yep.
need it, like Darby Allin. Having a rematch, their draw. Cody is the champion. He puts him over by letting him take the belt off of him. You can build this up to a point where either he turns heel and he just gives himself a title shot, or other ways you do it with a stipulation, like we were talking about beforehand. So it's one of those things where I think it's a more interesting story. But it's also kind of an interesting story if you did take the belt.
Oh yeah.
So, but we'll get more to
Yes.
that in our predictions in a few minutes. But it was an interesting announcement. I think it's too soon to do this kind of stipulation, but I do like that he acknowledged his father's past and that generation's failings as we're running this company, so we're going to book
like, no,
ourselves
we don't have to
be
do
the
that.
best.
It's like, no, we don't have to do that.
No. So I do like he did at least acknowledge that. But I didn't think he needed to go that far. Maybe saying I can't challenge for the world title for a year before I can even start earning points. My win-loss record actually starts counting towards it. And it's not like I immediately get in the top 5 for a title shot after a year. No. After a year, that's when the wins start counting for me to go into
Also,
that.
Cody's of a level within AEW where if he does lose here and he's not able to win the championship, it's not going to tarnish his legacy in any way. Like, he'll be remembered as,
No.
the executive vice president of this company, one of the faces of this company, one of the best in-ring guys, best promos for this company. And the one spot will be, but because he lost a match for the championship in the first 2 months of the company, he never held the title. And part of his legacy is that he lived up to his own promise.
Yep. And also, look at how many people are in the WWE Hall of Fame who never held the WWE Championship. One of the first people who comes to mind, Diamond Dallas Page, Scott Hall, and Jake the Snake Roberts. All worthy of being in that Hall of Fame, but never held the top prize in WWE. Only out of those 3, only one of them held the world title in WCW.
That's Page.
That's Page.
Yeah. So, it would be interesting to see how it goes down. But we'll get more about that into during our predictions. Okay,
Let's go ahead and invade with NXT. Yeah.
And we gotta talk.
I had to jump right in. I had to invade your space with that. Because I love it when an executive of the company who's been leading 1/3 of the brands decides to quote unquote invade his own company with the wrestlers from one of the brands of his own company. It's not an invasion.
We'll get into this in a minute of why this happened. We'll get into why this happened in a few minutes because we do need to talk about some stuff. Why? But this was absolutely what I've heard, because I haven't watched any of it, was
it is
stellar.
It's a great idea.
NXT invades, and because they had announced earlier in the week that NXT would be part of Survivor Series this year. So the whole traditional time of SmackDown versus Raw at Survivor Series is going to now be NXT involved. which just caused some problems for NXT with their shows the night before at TakeOver War Games. But it's WWE. They don't see. It's a separate brand that's not has anything to do with the main roster, so therefore it doesn't really count. Those matches don't count, so we don't have to acknowledge them.
But those matches are happening the night before.
LLL brand split.
Those matches are happening the night before.
Yeah, it's funny. It's the only time they actually want to acknowledge the difference between our brand split, but it's not because it's because it's not SmackDown or Raw. It's NXT. It's something different, so therefore we can acknowledge that.
Now,
okay, whatever. But it was fire that from everyone says, and then you had the Adam Cole Daniel Bryan main event that went on
something
for
like that.
30 minutes or something like that, and.
Something like that.
And everyone was predicting this will end in like a DQ or dirty finish for Cole. And it ended in a clean finish for Cole.
Yeah.
So I actually read an interview with Adam Cole about the time he got the call about possibly going to SmackDown for this invasion and what it was like working with Daniel Bryan. And he said he got a phone call about 2 o'clock, 2:30.
Damn.
On Friday, last Friday, that's a week ago, about you be alert. You may be needed for SmackDown tonight. 10 minutes later, he gets the phone call saying you're needed for SmackDown tonight. Get to the airport. And he said, thankfully I was home, so I was able just to grab my stuff, pack it really quickly, and get out there. On the plane ride over, they were actually to figure out what they're going to be informed of what's going to happen and figure that stuff out. They landed, I think, like 5 minutes before the show started. They didn't get to the arena until like 15 minutes or 30 minutes into the show. I can't remember exactly. So basically, when they first debut, when they first run in to the do their first show on TV, they've only been to the arena for a few minutes, if I remember correctly.
Oh, wow.
So it was like a touch and go. So they basically were determined on when they can do this angle for NXT to actually get to the arena. So, and then he says walking out to the arena, out to the ring with Bryan, and it was just so interesting for him because he's always been a huge fan of Daniel Bryan, still is. When he started with Ring of Honor, Bryan was on his way out, so he got to see a few matches there. So it was like being able to work with him in the ring at this level was just
it's totally meeting one of your heroes moments.
A full-out fan moment for him. Yeah, not just meeting your heroes, but working with one of your heroes, getting to pin him in the middle of the ring, and but just it's like you can probably just think in his head, he's like, oh my god, I'm wrestling Daniel Bryan. He's like totally nerding out over the fact that he's in the ring with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
So, but it was a great.
One of the things that I do love
invasion.
about this entire build-up to Survivor Series, right now anyway, is that it's NXT who fired the first shot.
Oh yeah, it's kind of a callback to the Nexus angle years ago that they botched.
Yeah.
Does anybody think that NXT is gonna actually win anything at Survivor Series? I don't.
Not really.
I really don't. I don't think they are. It will get them a nice little boost in ratings on NXT like they did this past week. It was really neck and neck for the ratings between AEW. AEW still beat NXT, but here's my thing when it comes about this invasion angle. I can watch it the next day on the network if I wanted to. So I can still watch AEW, and I can then watch the next night.
Yep.
In whole. So that's just my thing. Even though how hot it is, I can avoid spoilers for 24 hours if I really want to, and watch it with blinders on. But I mean, it was a great little pop up there, seeing the OC go down to NXT. I was over near the Full Sail Live earlier in the day. I thought about jogging over towards where they fence off and everything to see if I could see any surprises. Then I realized, it's WWE. I don't really give a shit. I mean, it's NXT, and I do like them, but I really just don't care.
You
They're
would have
going to
seen
fuck this angle
AJ.
up.
You would have seen
It's
Gallows.
not-
You would have seen
once-
Anderson.
AJ, you would have seen Gallows. You would have seen Anderson.
I doubt it. If they're gonna make that big, they want a big surprise. They would have kept those guys under lock and key. And this was early in the afternoon.
Okay.
I don't think they would have been. They would have had those guys show up until much closer to the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Once everyone was actually in the arena, is when I would probably had them show up or something like that, or sneak them in through the back or something like that. But that's just me. I mean, but it was. I mean, the one time I actually saw someone. It was a spoiler. Was I saw Sasha Banks, and I was walking by and I happened to look over and I noticed, oh, that's
Yes.
Sasha Banks, right there. Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Talking to someone. They weren't trying to keep her hidden, so this was probably one of those things they were trying to keep hidden, so it wouldn't have been a big for it. But overall, it's a great angle. But let's be honest, after Survivor Series, it's gonna go back to the way it is. NXT will be left alone. They won't hype it up.
Nope.
They won't advertise it. And
Nope.
so it's a nice little ratings boost for them for now. Maybe get a few more eyes on the product. But I don't think it won't keep the ratings with AEW. I could be wrong. Hopefully I won't be wrong, but I doubt it.
All right.
All right, Adam. I'm going to break our rule. The rule we have, but never talk about the Saudi Arabia shows.
I'm sorry. You mean the Philly parking lot brawl show?
You mean the Philly parking lot brawl show?
No, I'm talking about Crown Jewel. As much as I don't want to talk about this show or acknowledge it.
Sorry, the what? What?
In
Yeah,
any way,
okay.
shape,
We'll
or form,
break the
unfortunately.
rule.
Sorry, the what? Yeah, okay. We'll break the rule.
We're actually not going to talk about the show. We're going to talk about what
Yes.
happened after the show. So we're not technically breaking it. But, okay, so if no one has been heard about this yet, you are living under a rock.
I like the way you put that one.
But,
I like the way you put that one.
just like I said, the people who can go live under a rock, there are people probably already living under a rock if they haven't heard about this. So last
Rock
Friday,
people
a
are
week ago,
offended by
the reason why
this,
the
you know
NXT
that, right?
invasion angle had to happen.
People are offended by this. You know that.
I
Okay.
don't give a shit. You can't say anything. If you don't want to offend people, don't talk. That's how this world works these days. But anyway, if you want to know why the invasion angle happened, was because they had some travel issues over in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
So what happened was the plane that the WWE chartered to get people back to the States in time for SmackDown had mechanical errors. That's the official story coming from WWE. There are counter reports to this, but we do know for a fact that people like Hogan, Flair, Tyson, Fury got out on their own.
Lesnar
plane.
did.
Brock Lesnar,
Lesnar did.
and Paul Heyman, and I think if someone else was on that with him too. Got on their own. Vince went out on his own jet as well, and then the plane. So that's the official ruling from WWE is that it was a mechanical error, and they announced this that there was a mechanical error with the plane, and this was after they got some people from who were advertised for SmackDown on their own plane to get to try to make it to the show. Their botchness of this announcement made it look like the rest of the roster didn't give a fuck,
I know.
because the official announcement was mechanical error, but some people, superstars, felt so strongly about making the show, they chartered their own flight. Wow.
You basically said that everyone else who got stuck was being lazy.
Everyone else who got stuck was being lazy.
Yep. That's what it came off. Basically, someone in top brass in WWE let their feelings known of the rest of the roster.
Kevin Dunn's left foot. It was the left tooth.
So.
It was
Kevin
left
Dunn's
tooth.
It was the left tooth. It was left tooth.
So then other reports came out stating there's something anything else going on. The big one was saying that Saudi Arabia was owed WWE money for the last few shows, and Vince actually turned off the live stream to Saudi Arabia at the beginning of the show because of this. and it didn't get worked out until later on. And then the Crown Prince was so offended or pissed off by this, he held up the plane from being taken off. There was reports of military police at the airport, and that was the whole issue. And then the big thing was like Vince got out of there beforehand, so that's what was going on. And now here's to be clear. According to Corey Graves, who tried to set the record straight, which he made it worse in some cases. The word of essential personnel screwing over, selling out the rest of the roster was
there was
one of
that.
it. But he did point out Vince McMahon, the idea that Vince McMahon left everyone there to be part of the pawns and everything. That is not true. If you know Vince McMahon, he's always out the door.
Yeah, once he can physically leave, he's gone.
Flying back home.
Once he can physically leave, he's gone.
He's on his plane. He's heading home, or he's heading to the next city and all that because he's got a company to run, which does make sense. I'm not necessarily bashing that, but it still doesn't paint you in a good picture if the fact that he did have an issue with Saudi Arabia officials. And he just left.
There was another conspiracy theory as well. That the plane was being held up because they used the red light for the Fiend. Supposedly, someone from the Saudi Arabian Sports Authority did not want red light being used. And then they did it with the Fiend, and that's another conspiracy theory that they held up the plane because they were pissed about the show itself. And I'm like, okay. Oh, and even better, after all of these conspiracies and whatnot going around right now, honestly, it could just be a mechanical error, and a bunch of people were able to be moved over to specific charter flights, which were smaller, and it was like, okay, we can only take technically essential people for SmackDown. We're gonna have you out so you can be at SmackDown.
Yes.
You know, the announced team, some of the producers for the show, some performers. Yes, they need to be there. They've been advertised for it. Sorry, guys. If you can get back in time,
but don't
you
call
can
them
get
essential.
back.
If you can get back in time, you can get back.
Don't call them essential personnel, though. Call them like we need to get the people who are advertised for the show over there. It doesn't bury your talent. Regardless of whatever happens, I do just want to point this out. This may be a little political in a sense, but this is what you get when you deal with a authoritarian government.
Well, even better is
something like this happened, regardless if it was a mechanical error,
right
or not. You're never gonna get. You're never gonna know for sure when you have an authoritarian government like that because something like this could happen.
Yeah, there's one more awesome thing over all this with this too. The fact that WWE then announced that they're continuing their contract with the Saudi Arabian Sports Authority until 2027.
And it's basically, from what I gather from this, the only change to it is instead of extending the deal for more years, it's making one of the two shows every year a bigger show, more than a house show type feel. Which I don't know how you do that because they advertise it like a big show, a big match pay-per-view, but then it just comes off as a house show where nothing can happen. Nothing really happened. So I don't know what they mean by a bigger show, but it is what it is. A lot of people were pissed off about this, who felt betrayed, are vowing never to go back.
A lot of the
and others
are saying that they're not going to go.
Yep, and there's other people saying they can't wait to get out of this company. And the meeting they had on Raw that did not solve any problems. They're all the people who were pissed off are still pissed off. And it'll be interesting to see how many people next show say, no, we're not going. And it'll be interesting to see if enough of the talent said, we're not going, that they had to draw from NXT versus to actually be able to do a show. That would be really interesting to me. I don't know if that's
It's
the
all
case,
legends.
But,
It's all legends.
yeah. But who knows what's going to happen with this. But the most important thing is they all did
Yes.
get back home overall. And we will continue to mock that card. And I believe the next one is taking place in downtown New York. Is the parking lot brawl?
Oh, I thought it was
Right?
this time around. It was going to be in Lawrence, Mass.
It was going to be in Lawrence, Mass.
Oh yes. It's gonna
Yeah,
be Lawrence,
it's just
Mass.
it's an abandoned
right.
field on the edge of town.
It's an abandoned
So,
field
you know,
on the edge of town.
not even a parking lot brawl this time. Just an
Not
abandoned
even a
field.
parking lot brawl this time. Just an abandoned field.
Of course, what they don't tell you is they're gonna put some traps buried in the ground. So if you walk the wrong way,
There should already be enough smashed
So-
glass
There should
and
already be enough
used
smashed
needles
glass
all through there,
and,
all through the field
used
anyway.
needles all through the field anyway.
no, I'm talking about. But yeah, that's not enough for them. They gotta throw to make it at least more dangerous. They threw some few. They gotta throw more traps. in
okay,
there,
okay,
like,
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case,
So
we
that's all we
yeah,
have.
we got predictions, bro.
Yeah, we got predictions, bro.
It's
we do.
predictions time.
So okay.
Predictions.
All right. So we got an announcement about
What?
predictions.
What about it?
first. So
What? What about it?
due to the botch fest of Hell in a Cell, we decided last week that we held up the predictions championship. The title change did not happen
Nope.
between us. We just vacated the championship, and so there's no predictions champion currently, and this will be the deciding factor of the predictions.
Technically,
So,
this is a
that's what's gonna
start
happen.
over. There's no one has the belt going into this.
No one has
So
the belt going
Yeah.
into this.
Our win-loss record is still intact. It's just no one's the champion.
oh god, yeah.
So
God, yeah.
So, before we do get into predictions, I do need to talk about something that we would have absolutely bashed WWE for. We actually did bash WWE for at their last pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, for the lack of a build for a pay-per-view. We gotta kind of take a shot at AEW for this because some of these matches just got announced this week, and one in particular got announced that with no build whatsoever, except for on this last show, and that was for the women's championship.
Okay,
match.
fair enough. Fair enough on that
Okay,
one.
fair enough. Fair enough on that one.
So, up until only a few weeks ago, there were 4 matches announced. In the last week, we got 4 more announced matches. That was Rio defending the women's championship against Emi Sakura. SoCal Val and
Sakura.
What?
Sakura.
My bad. Sakura, SoCal Uncensored defending the tag team titles against the Lucha Bros and Private Party. Joey Janela, Sean
Okay.
Spears versus Sean Spears. And B. Priestley versus Britt Baker.
Okay, I mean, some of them have been.
Some of
The program's already been going on. You know,
program's already
B.
been
Priestley
going
and,
on,
and
you
Britt Baker. That
Priestley and Britt
the
Baker,
two of them
that pro-
talking and
the two of them talking and
cutting promos on each other and
They've been
and stuff.
building
That's
that
been
one.
going
They've-
on.
and stuff. That's been going on.
They've been building that feud since
Yeah.
Fyter Fest. But at the same time, it had not had a lot of
No.
TV time to build it.
No.
Which is one of the reasons why I believe they put it on the buy-in show. So, which is official on the buy-in. Which I'm fine. Those two are good enough to make that match make you want to buy in, I believe. But it wasn't, again, it was not enough build on TV to, in my sense, just outright just naming the number 1 contender for the women's title. I mean, yes, Rio got pinned in a small package by the person who trained her, by the way, which does make an interesting story going into this feud. But again, it's only a week build. There's Sakura had no real build. This is her first time on Dynamite TV since Fyter Fest, I believe.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's not much of a build there. So it's just, I will give AEW some leeway though. This is their first time with television to build this pay-per-view.
Right.
They do know how to build a pay-per-view out, but they were doing it all summer long that way, but it was over weeks and weeks with no TV. They were doing it through being the elite
Right.
and everything. But
Right.
going forward, and this is one of the things with only about 5 weeks of TV before their next pay-per-view, it was going to be kind of hard to build a full pay-per-view in that time frame. So I will be more critical when they announce their next pay-per-view, which I'm sure they will announce tonight.
Mm-hmm.
If the same thing happens, I'll be just as critical of WWE because you had more
Right.
time.
Right.
But I don't think that will be an issue. I think they will have time out. So I have to bring that. What are your thoughts on that, Adam, before we go to the predictions?
I'm looking the card over, and really, Joey Janela and Sean Spears and the Women's World Championship match, only two that I feel that there weren't at least a setup earlier on. You know, SoCal Uncensored, yeah,
Yes.
of course, you got,
I mean,
you know, them versus the Lucha Brothers. Okay, that's a kind of a given rematch style match. And Private Party winning their way into that match. Okay, cool. Now,
because they actually had a bronze medal. They actually had a match to determine the third place of a tournament.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
And that's why they got into this match, which was great. So I'll give them that. The Sean Spears Joey Janela was a last minute build. It actually resulted from, I guess, Dark, where as Wrestle Talk put it, Sean Spears tried to murder Brandon Cutler by giving him a Death Valley driver onto a chair.
Yes.
And Joey Janela came out and saved him. So that's a nice little payoff of something that happened on Dark, but paying off on TV.
Right.
How do you do a show that's on your YouTube channel and everything pay off on television so you can still have that, use that to build up feud? Oh, right there. Something happened there, you paid off the next week on TV. They need to do more of that, which I think they will.
Most likely.
So, and it's interesting. I think AEW has not been around that long, and they've already figured out how to have two shows without having the cost of running two
Exactly.
shows.
Exactly.
So, which is interesting. But overall, I will say this looks like a really solid card. And as much as I do have to give them some grief about the whole lack of build, they're still figuring out TV, let's be honest. They're still figuring out their television on how to get all their talent on and how to do it. Dark was a nice surprise to me. Was not expecting that, and in the coming months, that is going to be the great way to use to build feuds that they don't have time for on
Yeah, I mean,
TV.
also,
And we actually
they've
said
had-
this. Didn't we say this when they announced this?
Yeah.
Adam, do you remember back when they announced it? We talked about what being the elite
Yeah.
could be used for.
Yeah.
We said use that to build up people and feuds that you don't have time for on television. Well, they're not. Yes, they're kind of doing it. I don't watch being the elite, but they just took that same concept and just directly used it for
Yeah.
television.
Yeah.
So it's like great. What were you gonna say about the?
I mean, also the lack of build. Really, they've been on TV for 1 month.
They've been on TV for 1 month.
Yeah. So again, that's why I'm saying they're still figuring stuff out, and that's why we have to give them grace because I did see something on TV today. This past week. Actually, it was, I think on Thursday or maybe it was yesterday. And it is, it was done by WB Marks, who wanted to point this out, but they were right to. They showed photos of the section of Dynamite section off on the card cam side. And people were saying, well, if this was WWE, this would be all over the world, all over and talking point, but it's AEW, so no one's talking about it. So, as much as it was clearly the marks out there for WWE just trying to, see, they have trouble selling tickets too. Like, they're a new company, let's be honest. So they're gonna not everything's gonna be a sellout. but they were right to call that out. It is
Yeah.
true. Let's be honest, because it's AEW, not many people were talking about it because it wasn't WWE. WWE, I think, is more appropriate to call them out on it because of they don't give a shit what their fans think and keep doing it, and their ticket sales keep dwindling, and they can't sell out the arenas they want to register. So it's more of a talking point. AEW, they're still building. Now, but again, it is his right to call them out on stuff, and that's why we needed to call them out on this, to be fair.
I mean, I'm not going to say, no, you can't do that to AEW. Do that to every company. Show off what seats aren't being sold for what they're doing. You know, Ring of Honor, show it off. NXT, show it off. New Japan, show it off. AEW, show it off. Show me, how much of the venue that they're in that they're having to block off because either they can't sell those seats or other reasons.
And this could be a case of AEW making the mistake, saying, "Okay, we thought we had a bigger market in this area that we would be able to sell these seats. Next time they're gonna come back, they probably won't be in this arena. They'll go to a smaller arena. They can sell out or sell majority of the tickets because they learned their lesson. Like, okay, this is a caution. And also, let's be honest, those first few TV tapings they were selling out for." These were the big hardcore AEW fans, independent fans who wanted to be there. They wanted to help support this. They're blue collar people. They can't afford to go to every single show.
You're not going to be at every single show.
So it's going to be no. And we're getting closer to Christmas time, so people are going to think about Christmas presents. I don't celebrate Christmas or any holidays, so I don't have to worry about that shit. But
oh yeah, that's coming up. Damn.
Again, it's just one of those things where like it is. But again, we gotta call them out and be fair.
Exactly.
All right, Adam, it's time to predict.
All right.
We do have 4 questions for tiebreakers.
Holy crap, 4 questions.
I'll give you the option. I'll give you the option to eliminate one of them, if you feel. Because I do like the idea of having or adding a question if you can think of one. So you actually have an odd number just in case we do have a tie. But here are the 4 questions. We will answer them at the end. So if you decide you want to add one or eliminate one, you have time to think it through. But here it is. How many championships will change hands?
Okay.
That it doesn't say this there, but also dash will any championships change hands? And this will I'm going to try something to do. Your prediction here is based on what you say for the championship matches. So if you can't pick a number. So if you say titles are going to change hands in your prediction, it counts for this question. I'm stealing this one from Wrestle Talk. How many super kicks will the Young Bucks give in their match?
Oh, damn it. Why would that...
It's a good question, don't you think?
Can we go with an under-over on that one?
Well, it's going to be closest, too. It doesn't matter if you go over. It's whoever's the closest. And if it's both are within equal amount difference, we'll go into over. If you can't go over, and the person who didn't go over will win it. But that's only if we're deadlock, where there's no real winner on that one. Okay. Actually, no, because these are just based on if you get it right. We'll only do that if we get tied in we have a tie based on the questions too. Then we'll do that because the questions are meant to tie break. It doesn't matter if we both get it. The next one is: will there be an announcement or a new debut of a star at this pay-per-view? This will go for in the crowd a segment.
CM Punk confirmed.
Interference from someone who's not.
CM Punk to AEW confirmed.
If there's going to be any kind of big announcement or anything like of a new big star. Now, this does not go for the person they've been doing on Dynamite. I can't remember his name, but they have been running a segment for someone on Dynamite. If they do one for him, it does not count because they've already been doing that. This has got to be someone brand new who we do not know is part of AEW. Okay. And then the final one is, will there be an announcement for a championship? I specifically phrased it this way, so this would refer to the secondary titles or the announcement that the women's tag titles are going to be coming soon.
All right.
So, I'll give you the option to eliminate one or add a fifth question if you want to at the end. All right.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna start from the pre-show up.
So we're gonna go pre-show and then
based on-
then to 8.
Show and then to 8.
7 and up. Because there's 8 matches
Well, yeah,
as of yesterday.
but I'm saying the one on Wikipedia that's number 8.
The one on Wikipedia that's number 8.
There.
Oh, fine. I'll look at it on
Look at it on
your official list.
No, because I'm.
your official list.
Oh, okay, that's why you have 8. Okay, because I put I removed it because they had 4-P for B Priestley and Britt Baker. So I changed it and just put 7.
okay.
So yeah,
All right.
I'll go from P, then to up through 1.
Yeah.
Right. So, who's gonna be B Priestley or Britt Baker?
Sorry. Just
This is a tough
no,
one.
just realizing that something was touched in my office that shouldn't have been touched a while ago. All right.
Oh.
B Priestley was you know what? I'm taking Britt Baker winning right here.
Britt Baker winning.
You're going. Britt
Yep.
Baker.
The doctor, Britt
The
Baker.
Doctor.
I do think you're right on that one because they really want her, but they really need to get B Priestley needs some wins.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
And she just lost the World Stardom Championship. So and bring her because she's gonna be focusing her time over here. Oh, by the way, interesting note: Rio has been working with Stardom.
Oh
lately.
yes, I have seen that.
Oh yes, I have seen that.
So I think she's the current one half of the. I can't remember what they call their tag team division over there, the tag team championships, but I think she's one half of those, and I think she's the high speed champion.
Cool,
as well.
cool, cool.
Cool.
Which makes me interesting. In AEW, she's the top of the top tier star. When she goes somewhere else, she's still seen like low middle card. But she's 21 though, so that's
Yeah.
So it does kind of make sense for that kind of division over there. But do I wanna? I'm gonna go with Britt
Okay.
Baker too.
Okay.
I have a feeling that B Priestley, but I don't want to give that first. If I'm gonna lose, I want us both to lose. I want us both to win or both to lose on that first one. So our next one is Joey Janela versus Sean Spears with Tully Blanchard.
You know what? This is
I'm
where
gonna go
Sean
Sean
gets his
Spears.
win.
This is where Sean gets his win.
Yes, I mean he has some wins, but Joey Janela is one of those guys he can beat up, lose constantly, and he's still gonna be over.
He's still a threat. I mean, we saw what he did
Yeah.
with Kenny Omega. It looked like Joey could have won at any point.
Won at any point.
Yes. So you're going with Sean
Yeah,
Spears, though, right?
yes, totally.
Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
All right. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where they eventually will have to start giving him wins because to new people who aren't used to it, if you don't have wins, then what's the point of you really caring about him? But I do think right now he's still so over with independent fans that it doesn't really matter. He can lose. Whenever they do bring a secondary title in, I do think he'll be one of those people who challenges is always a threat for that belt.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so our next matchup is the first of the 3 championship matches. So-called Uncensored SCU.
See you.
See you.
Defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Lucha Bros in Private Party. Now, the question comes down with this one is, will they do a title change so quickly? And does Private Party, even if they are, does the Private Party even have a chance to win it?
Honestly, if there's going to be a change here, it will be to Private Party.
Oh no, I think if they're going to do a change here, it's going to be the Lucha Bros.
No,
But I don't think they are. I'm going with SCU.
I'm going SCU as well.
I'm going SCU as well.
But
Damn, we are agreeing.
yeah,
right
I know.
here.
I feel that it's because Lucha Bros don't actually need the title in order to be as over as they are.
No, they do. I mean, Here's my biggest problem when people say someone doesn't need the belt because they're already over, and belts are meant to get people over. That is the response I would say for WWE. That's what they look at. But in overall in sports, which is what they're going for in AEW, it's not about being over. Yes, you should be over, but the person who holds the belt is your best. This is what you're saying. You're the best person in this company. Therefore, you want to be over and have that belt. So eventually they will have to win them to be there, but it doesn't have to be now.
All right.
There's so many more matches that you can do, I think, that you can really build that up. But I agree, SEU is probably going to retain. Especially, they've only held the belts for 2 weeks. It's too soon to really hot shot that back and forth. Our next matchup is the second championship defense of the night, and that will be Rio versus Ima Sakura.
Ooh. See, this is one where
I'm going Rio.
Emmy could totally take it.
Yes. But again, will be Rio's, I think, second title defense, I believe. And I just don't think they didn't build Sakura up at all, really. They just this last minute thing. The story here, I think, is going to be, can Rio beat the person who trained her? And that gives her so it means something to her in the storyline and as a championship defense before moving on to someone else.
Yeah. I do feel, though, that
me.
Rio is going to retain here.
So you're going with Rio?
Yes.
Dude, we're probably going to go to the questions on this one.
No, after this is where things are going to get interesting.
Okay, well, I hope so, because right now basically every match that was just announced is announced. In the last week or so, we agree on.
Well, yeah.
But I will say this: going back to our taking AEW to task for the lack of a build. One of those championship matches, you couldn't really make a matchup until about 2 weeks ago because they just crowned the tag team champion.
Right.
So that one it's not big of a deal. But again, so this next matchup is a match that was supposed to happen all the way back at Double or Nothing. Adam Page, Hangman Page versus Pac, the bastard Pac.
Will Adam Page get his revenge?
I know a lot of people have been saying they've been, I guess, more on being the Elite. They've been teasing a heel turn for Adam Page. But here's my thing. I'm going Pac. I think I heard this on AEW. I mean, on Wrestle Talk or it was somewhere that Adam Page AEW's been doing basically the Roman Reigns effect on Page. They've been trying to push him so much to be a big star, and he's not ready for it or over enough for that push.
Okay.
They're not pushing him nearly as hard as WWE pushed Reigns.
No,
but they
not
are
even close.
pushing him far too hard for someone who's not over enough. I do think he has all the skills to be a world champion, but he needs a secondary title run first, or even a tag title reign, multiple tag title reigns, or a single title reign in the secondary title division before a world title run. But that's me, and I think Pac is far better for the company right now than Page. So I have to go with Pac here.
Well, see, I'm going Page because I want to see him. He's been too much of a Roman Reigns pushed face that this is actually where he decides to cheat.
That's the thing. With that whole heel turn that people have been mentioning, Wrestle Talk mentioned about it in their predictions when I was watching it, saying, so what would be if he lost to Pac here, he turned heel. Afterwards, not against Pac, but he turned heel in his next feud. That'd be his snapping point. Then you can start building him up as a strong heel.
I
although
want to
cheating
see
here
an
would
Adam
be
Page
interesting.
that's
though.
sick of being the joke, being the punchline for other people. You know,
Yep.
he got robbed of this match with a low blow against Pac the first time.
Yep.
So why not just be like, look, you know what? You're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it before you now. I'm gonna go as far as I need to be able to put you away, Pac. If that means that I get disqualified, cool. It also means that I'm gonna hurt you.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I do think right now Adam Page would be better as a heel,
Yeah.
but that's just me. But I do think it needs to be after this. Would be a great Pac maybe cheats again, and Hangman Page is like he has enough of it, where he on his next feud he attacks someone.
Or I mean, you could have Page get a DQ win here again. That Pac just doesn't actually want to have a match with him.
Yeah, but I don't like that. I don't think so. It could, but I think this is another loss for Page. I think would help him out. Even if he doesn't turn heel, he just gets a more aggressive attitude.
Right.
And that helps him, and he starts working with smaller talent, more of the talent he should be working with a feud. His next big feud, maybe Cody, or something like that. Maybe I don't think it should be the feud. That should be it. But maybe he turns on Cody and costs him the belt instead of MJF.
No.
But I don't think so either. No. But that's just me. But like maybe he attacks Kenny at the end of the unsanctioned match or something like that.
I don't know.
And that's a feud. That would be an interesting thing. But we'll get to that in a little bit. All right, so our next matchup is the Young Bucks.
What did you put me down for?
Adam Page.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Us Adams stick together.
Yeah, I was gonna say you picked him because he's Adam. That's the only reason why you picked him.
Maybe.
Okay, our next matchup is the Young Bucks versus, I guess they actually do have a name, Santana Ortiz. I can't remember what Wrestle Talk called them. I'm just calling them the Inner Circle because why not? But
I'm gonna call them SAO, Santana and Ortiz. Yeah.
But we have them down here as Santana and Ortiz. But who do you have the win going to?
Actually, I'm gonna have the win go to Santana and Ortiz here.
I am going to as well.
I don't feel that in the overall feud between the Inner Circle and the Elite, that this is the time for the Elite to get a win.
No, I think overall, like, you got to build to. People want to see this matchup, and the Elite actually get that victory. And this isn't the time and place for it. It's got to be one of those things where it's they need the win to build up. If they get the win right here, then what's the point of, okay, the Elite won. Well, look, that whole thing Cody mentioned about booking themselves to win. Oh, look, they just did it again.
Yeah.
And this was a great way to pay off the Inner Circle storyline going forward and build them up. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. The main event of the show. AEW World Champion Chris Jericho defending against Cody Rhodes.
Le Champion, Chris Jericho.
I am too. I think the bigger story is.
Well, wait.
All
right, because I have to explain this. Chris Jericho is retaining his title. He's going to walk out as the champion. Technically, Cody is going to win by DQ.
So who's your prediction?
Cody gets the win.
Cody, okay. I'm going with Jericho's getting the win.
Okay.
Because I think your little prediction is too much in line with what WWE would do to protect someone from saying, "I won the match. I didn't win the belt." But the thing is, Cody's wording was, if he doesn't win the world title, he can't challenge for it. So even if he wins the match by DQ, he didn't win the world title, so therefore he can't challenge for it.
No, I think it was really, he said that if he doesn't win the match, he'll never challenge for the title again.
Yeah, I'm going to go with mine, but I think it's Jericho's gonna win here. The story is better. The story is it's better that Cody can't challenge for it, and you literally take years to build up to say Cody winning the belt, finally winning the championship. He becomes he should be the first person to win the secondary title, the tag titles together. He's held both those multiple times maybe, and he just he cannot be the Triple Crown champion because he can't win it. And when he finally does, he's the first Triple Crown champion.
Maybe.
That's what I think. I think it'd be a great story there. All right, and then once the show is done and the lights go out, we get our unsanctioned match, but Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. I almost said John Cena there for a second.
See, for me, I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, this is going to be an absolute brawl between both men.
First, I gotta say
as much as they can out of the bag.
I just gotta say one thing first.
What?
This has not been confirmed as closing being the last match. Dave Meltzer says it's most likely going to be to sell out the unsanctioned element, but it has not been confirmed yet.
Well, I mean, normally when you have a lights out match, it's after the main event because you turn the lights out, you bring them back up.
Oh, no, I know. And that's what I think they're going to do, but it's not been officially said that.
Oh, okay.
We're treating it like what they did with Moxley and Janela, and then they're going to.
Yep.
If we turn out to be wrong, we're wrong. But I have a feeling this will be the last unsanctioned match, unofficial match, the show closer. Well, not even a show closer. It's for those people who want to stick around after the show's ended.
Yeah, technically.
Which will be everyone in attendance. So there are no rules here. Just a ref to basically count the pinfall. Weapons, hardcore. It's all legal here.
Right.
Who do you pick?
See, this one's tough because they're doing a great job of selling Omega as he is completely out of his element and he's just barely picking up wins here and there now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're showing Moxley as being very strong.
Yep.
I chuckled because I caught somebody in the comment section of a Facebook post regarding Kenny Omega. And they were like, "Yeah, he's doing a terrible job. You know, they're not. You know, he's supposed to be the best in the world, and they're not showing that from this guy. He should have signed with WWE." My kind of response was, you do know that it's more than just his what's going on in ring as to why somebody would sign with a certain company. AEW gave him an executive vice president's position.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's Triple H. That's a Triple H level position. WWE wasn't going to be, hey, you're going to be in charge of this stuff and you can still wrestle as well. They didn't give him that option.
But also, and not just that, it's the story about him being this hype and he's not matching up to it.
He's not living up to the hype that came from New Japan.
Yeah. He's out of his element. That's the whole story. Because what would be... Oh, yeah, it would be interesting. Oh, Kenny Omega is the first AEW World Champion. Great. That would everyone would predict. And then you had the criticism, oh, he's an executive vice president. He just gave himself the belt.
Right.
I think people forget that there's a person above these guys.
Tony's the one who's doing most of their booking?
No. Yeah, Tony Khan, the son of the owner, the actual president of the company, and one day will be the official owner of this company when his dad retires or passes away.
Right.
He makes all the final decisions. He's actually one who makes the decisions of these guys' matches. They have no say in it whatsoever. I'm sure he listens to them if they pitch ideas about where to go, but they're also on that same level as Cody says. We're aware of the fact that we have power in this company and can book ourselves to win and just be dominant and secure our place. No, they're not going to. They're going to, based on this, they want to get other talent over because they understand that if it's just them and bury everyone else, it's just WWE, and no one's going to stick around to watch that. You need to have new talent constantly coming up and being shined upon. Yes, they need to look strong and remain strong overall, but they need to. They can take more of a loss than most people can.
Yeah.
And the fact in this match, because it's a non-sanctioned match, it does not count towards a win-loss.
No, this is purely going to be storyline. I have a feeling that it's going to be Moxley winning here. And the way that I see it happening...
It's my prediction is Moxley.
Okay. The way that I see it happening is that Kenny, as the match goes along, we see more and more of his cleaner character. He's going to be trying to cheat. He's going to be trying to just hurt Moxley. And Moxley will he'll have the moxie, if you will, to just outdo Kenny by the end of it. Both men are hurt. They probably won't even be able to show up to Dynamite on Wednesday. But it's one of those that's not going to be a clean, dominant win. It's going to be one of those that somebody crawls over at the end of it or flops down and someone's arm is on top of the other person as they're both laying on their back. And it's just Moxley's arm is over Kenny's.
I'm going to see something. I think we're going to see a little bit differently. I think it's going to be more Moxley heavy overall.
Okay.
And he's going to win. But I definitely think when we have those heavy Kenny sequences, we're just going to see, after no matter what Kenny does, we're just going to see the reaction of Moxley just grinning and like, I'm bringing this out of you. I'm bringing out what I wanted you. I'm bringing out the cleaner. But my whole point was to bring out the cleaner, but not to bring it out to show that's the better side of you, to prove that even when you're the cleaner, you still aren't as good as me. You still can't go as far as I can go.
Yeah, that your cleaner persona is somebody who's not... I wanted that persona out of you because I knew I could beat that persona.
I can beat that persona. I wanted to see that.
The Kenny that worked with Ibushi, that right at the end, the Golden Lovers Kenny, that one, that's actually the character that could probably beat Moxley.
Yes.
Because he has all the confidence in the world. He knows that everything he does is going to be 110%. While the cleaner's like, look, this might hit you for 70, but I'm going to try to do it 19 times this match.
Yeah.
While the Golden Lovers Kenny's like, I have to hit one move, and we're all finished.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see this one. But what is your official prediction?
Moxley.
All right. So we have. Let me just look at this really quickly. We disagree on only 2 cards on 2 matches.
Oh, right.
So we could, if you get one of those right and I get the other one, we could tie.
We could tie.
In the matches, which is the question. So the question is, Adam, are you going to add or eliminate a question?
How many questions do we have right now?
4. If you add one,
4.
we'll make it 5, so we'll have an odd number of questions. If you
Let's eliminate one.
Okay, so which one do you want to eliminate?
The whether or not a title would change hands.
Okay, so the very first question.
Yep.
Okay. It has been stricken from the record.
Okay.
So, because we basically agreed that no championship is going to be changing hands.
Right.
So, you did predict Cody to win and get the match. It's not. You're basically saying that the title won't change hands. That we got rid of that stipulation a long time ago because we used it as a cheat.
Yep.
So badly. Okay, so the first question is, how many super kicks will the Young Bucks perform in their match against the Inner Circle?
Wait, what? Sorry, what was the question again?
How many super kicks the Young Bucks will do?
15.
Now, this does not count if they go for it and miss. It has to be actually connect.
Nope, 15.
15. Whoa,
I'm going high.
You're going higher than anyone on Wrestle Talk. I think the highest they did, was 11.
See, I also count when they do a double, When it's both of them, that's 2, 1 each.
Nope, that's gonna be counted as 1.
Oh, well, okay. In that case, I'm saying 9.
9. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
I was
gonna be
like 15 because I count. There's going to be like 6 of them because they're going to do 3 of the double kick.
Let's do it this way. If they do a double to one person, it counts as 1. But if they do 2 at the same time, but to 2 different people, it'll count as individual.
Okay, yeah, no. I was counting the both Matt and Nick to one person
As
2 different kicks.
Okay, no. So yeah, no, I'm saying that as 1 because they're doing to one person. It's got to be
Yeah,
based
I'll
on
agree to
the
the
number
1.
of each person for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, you're right around the number I was gonna go for, but I think it'd be interesting if they said they actually did very few of them. I only got like 2 or 3 on this. But I'm going 12. I'm going 12.
12. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
So, okay, the next one will there be a debut dash announcement, new package for someone coming, or something like that? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Even though I'm going to say this again. CM Punk, AEW confirmed.
Okay, so will there be and then the final question, will there be an announcement of a new championship, whether it be the secondary title or the women's tag titles coming? Yes or no?
No.
No?
Nope.
I think there will be, but I'm gonna go with no because you know what? Fuck it. We only disagree.
What?
We only disagree on 1. So I'm going to go with a yes. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we have official predictions for AEW's Full Gear. We will finally crown a new predictions champion as has been held up in the Hell in a Cell debacle and bullshit that it was.
Yep.
And we'll see who will be the champion next week. But before we finish up, I don't know what I was talking about going there, but let us know down in the comment section what your predictions for AEW Full Gear is. Tell us what you think the match of the night will be of the show.
Okay.
But on your way down there, go ahead and give us a podcast a thumbs up. You made it to the end of a very long one. You're clearly liking what we're talking about. At least I am.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up.
So go give it a thumbs up. Let's see if we can get this to 3 likes.
3. Oh.
No. Let's make it 5 because you
5.
like it. I
5.
like it. Let's be honest. We like this thing. So let's see if we can get 5. So 3 people who are not
5,
us.
ladies and gentlemen. Feel we could do that this week.
We can do that. We can get 3, I think. Besides us. But,
Okay.
And then while you're at it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Ding.
Ring the bell.
Ding. Ding.
And get bent. I got nothing. After that one. I guess just cut
Neither
it.
do I.
Just cut it here.
Okay.
Such a disappointment in myself.